Welcome back, party people. You are listening to Crossplay, our video game podcast here at the Whatnauts. It is Monday, May 10th, 2021, and that's right, you are getting 2 Crossplays this week because we have an exciting guest here with us. Coming up on the show, we're going to be talking about Resident Evil Village, as well as some news about The Division. But let's get to our special guest here in just a sec. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Ignacio Rojas.
Hey, how's it going?
And Gino Viteri.
Once again, thank you guys for having me. I'm the special guest here. Thank you so much.
You wish. Yeah, you wish.
Thank you.
And also Alan Busby.
The long road, Alan Busby, mind you.
The long road.
No high roads for him. Only
no high road, only the long one.
Just the long road. That's all you need.
Just the long one.
And as you just heard, our special guest, one of the hosts of E3 2021 and the co-creator of Kinda Funny, Greg Miller. Welcome.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here to accept Gino's apology for everything he's done to me. Trying to drag my reputation through the mud. Ignacio knows. He's been the only one here defending me.
Greg, I don't know if you saw my video response to Gino's video, but I'm Team Greg.
Team Greg. See?
Okay.
It's the winning team, Ignacio.
Good thing that's cropped out. Just kidding.
I told you not to grow it out.
It just says Reg. All it says is Reg behind him.
I told you not to grow it out.
Okay, so
no,
we're
for
going
real, guys. Thank you for being so much fun to goof around with on the internet.
Thank you. Sure.
And like that was like our like mastermind plan of like, if we put this out, I think he'll respond, and I think it's gonna be worth it. He might rip us to shreds, but I think it'll be fun.
Don't even let Kyle make you think that it was a plan, that we were all in hoots. Kyle just threw that up. Like, at least for me, I did. I logged into Twitter, and all of a sudden I saw it, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, like,
I didn't know.
Kyle put it out, and I was like, maybe Greg will not see it on Twitter. I'll put it on the Reddit.
You guys killed my phone.
That's where I caught it too, right? Yeah, Twitter's too fast. Twitter moves too quickly.
You killed my phone at work. My phone was literally dying, notifying me of every Twitter notification. My phone was like, I can't do this.
It's funny because that morning that Greg released the video where he attacked us all, not
all.
Not Team Greg, a leader over there.
I was just looking at notifications because the Simply Sassy video was coming out or whatever. And then I saw Greg on my notifications, and I noticed that I wasn't following him. And I was like, why? I've always followed Greg. That's so weird. I've been following him for years. So I asked one of my friends, if somebody blocks you, does it also make you unfollow them? And they're like, yeah, that happens. And then an hour after that, he posted that video. And I'm going to be honest, Greg, I never would have thought this, like, it would have sparred this entire thing that now you're here talking to us. It's really awesome. I'm not gonna apologize to you because you're the one who attacked me though. I will say thank you though, because it has been fun. It has been fun.
Thank you. Thank all of you. Like, that's the thing about this, right? And I think, the stuff we always talk about with the Kinda Funny best friends and all that, right? Of like, it's not about being in some ivory tower, right? It's about making content and doing things with you and building the shows with you and building. And I think of personally like a video like that and, a feud with a podcast as building content and making content. And like, when I saw the video, you guys were obviously so into it. And me and Gino had already gone back and forth. And obviously I know Ignacio so much. Like, it was just a fun, goofy thing to get into. And obviously then to, have the crossover with Simply Sassy too. Like, it was just a great way to lift everybody. And that's why, like, when to get Austin, aka WWE superstar Xavier Woods, on Simply Sassy, right? Like, he was the easiest pitch. Where I was like, hey, I'm feuding with this other podcast and the thing, and I'm going full heel. Can you go do this to screw over? He's like, I'm on it. Don't worry. I'm like, thank you.
I got it.
It was funny because we tried to double cross you with that too, where they told me, hey, Xavier's going to be on podcast. Do you want to do something? And I was like, okay. Let's make sure that he's Team Gino, first of all. and the whole plan was because he also is local to where I am. So we were trying, I don't know if this ever got to us, but we thought about him saying that he's Team Gino and then me being at his house. and then showing up behind him and taking over for that podcast. But that never happened, fortunately.
He was like, please don't come to my house.
I'll let you know that we recorded an episode this Saturday, and we actually called it Crossplay Present. The Whatnauts Present Crossplay without Gino. Gino is back. No. So if you want to get us in Create to be on the podcast, we'll happily delay it.
Okay, great, perfect, thank you. That's what I need. Yeah.
I mean, if you want, I can just crop Gino out of this episode. We can just have like breaks of silence, when he talks.
Well, you, Alan, you got to stop getting trophies. All right, I can't have you getting even close to me, even trying to catch up to me. All right, you got to stay back. Where are you at now?
I'm at 500. Near replicants taking me a while. I see your trophies were private. Somebody told me you were a coward, and I was like, no. I was like, no, Greg's reviewing something. They gotta be private.
Exactly.
I was
They're
like,
public again. Everybody, calm down.
That's right.
You get over there and see my 529 on PSN profiles right now.
I had somebody say you were a coward for hiding your trophies, and I swiftly came to your defense, and I was like, no. It's like, no. He needs to have them on private. Don't worry.
It's always interesting the people who don't get that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what? Greg's trophies are private. I thought he loves trophies. I'm clearly reviewing something that they don't. That part of the agreement is I don't show you my profile. Like, I'm
just mad we're not friends on PSN. That hurts. That hurts everywhere. That's right.
That hurts everyone. I didn't realize it hurts everyone.
No. It hurt. Well, it hurt. No, I said it hurts everywhere. It doesn't hurt my heart. Everywhere. It hurts me everywhere.
Greg, we used to be friends on PSN until you purged me out of your list.
The Greg Miller Industries purge. Yeah, I had to. Remember, that was my problem.
I still will not forgive you. I begged you.
You're one of the most supportive, kind of funny best friends. I think you forgave me a long time ago, Ignacio. No, I remember I wanted to be the first person to max out their PSN friends list in the world. I was, and that broke countless games and experiences for me. So yeah, I had to hire Snowbike Mike, A-Rock. Who else? There was somebody. Mike Doherty, right? Cheeks. Yeah. I paid them all to come sit in for a day at Kind of Funny and just delete my PSN friends.
Wow.
And they did a really bad job of it, and I had to do it for months afterwards as well. But eventually, I got it down to 90 people right now that I can actually not get destroyed. I'll tell you what, the Returnal notifications would kill me alone if I still had.
I turned off all notifications. Greg,
see, I like them. That was the thing, is I like that kind of stuff. But it's like when I had 2,000 friends, like, they would literally break games and not load things, and no.
The only notification that I need on is trophy notifications. That's the only one I need on. Fair.
I respect that.
See? It's the only one that's on. You hop online. I don't know you're online. When I pop a trophy, I'll know.
That's all that matters. So Alan, do you platinum everything you play, or is it just try to? Everything?
Just about. I try to, unless the game is like, I'd say unless it's so bad, but Replicant's so bad, and I still platinum it. It's hard to explain. I haven't always platinum games. Like if you go far down my trophy list, there's a lot of games I never platinumed. And then just out of nowhere, my trophy obsession of just hearing you talk about them and collecting them and how hyped you were for trophies, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm doing this. If Greg's collecting trophies, then I'm going to do it.
So where did I lose you for being a trophy whore? Why won't you buy the 99-cent and play it in 10 minutes and you got a platinum?
See, that's the thing. You can idolize someone and be inspired by them, but you don't have to follow everything they say.
You can see the
so just because you advocate trophies, I'm with you there 1,000%.
This is like the down part of my behind the music, right? Where I'm heavy into drugs or something and throwing everything away.
You have somehow on your trophy list, you have Foxyland on the PS4 twice and the Vita. That's where I'm like, you know what? My idol, I thought he was like perfect. Turns out once I zoom in, there's some blemishes here and there.
Sure, of course, you know what I mean. I either die the hero or live long enough to become the villain.
I did play One Night Stand and My Name Is Mayo 1 and 2 to get some easy plats to catch up to you. So I do feel a little naughty.
My Name Is Mayo is that this thing right here. That's crazy.
Now, to be clear, thank you very much. It's more coming too. Yeah. I'm allergic. I got allergies. No,
okay,
One Night Stand, Wall and Easy Platinum. One Night Stand's a fun game. That was one of the and Foxyland 2 I remember liking as well. But like Radalika publishes a lot of crap that just puts platinum on it. But I do stand by One Night Stand.
That's true. One Night Stand's a great game, but yeah, like I did get a couple easy plats. I have 2 other easy play games on my list that I got, but through my sheer pride, I can't play them yet, or less I feel dirty.
See, I respect it to a degree, but it's just I can't. I need to have it. See, but it's that part of me where you understand. You guys understand too, obviously. Like as fast as it moves, of like I really like this game. Oh shit, I got to review this other game. Like I have to put stuff down all the time. Yeah. And so I always feel heartbroken to have a game that I truly love and would love to platinum, but like, am I ever going to get back to it? Yada, yada, yada. And so I feel like those easy to the 99-cent plats or whatever, the ones that like kind of like, all right, cool. It's still giving me the forward momentum and progress. I think my trophy list deserves.
It's okay. I have the Persona 5, I believe, Royal. I have the Persona 5 Platinum that you don't, so got you there.
Sure. There you
and
go.
I have
Good
the
job.
Final Fantasy 7 Remake, a game that was unofficially the Whatnauts Game of the Year last year that I didn't like. I platinumed it, and Greg Miller has not.
Yeah.
It
No,
would have been our game of the year.
No.
It would have been our game of the year.
You enjoyed this game, right, Greg? You enjoyed Final Fantasy 7?
Yeah. We voted that game of the year too, and I think I voted one of the ones I voted for.
I think you said last of us.
Circle.
Oh, you're right. I got outvoted, but I didn't argue that one. Like I did enjoy 7. Yeah.
Now, Gino wouldn't have been a coward. It would have been our game of the year.
We can circle back around to that. Back around.
Yeah.
So what'd you vote for? You voted for Last of Us?
I did.
Miles
Yeah,
Morales
Miles
was our
Miles Morales
game
was
of the year.
It's a
Another
solid
great game.
pick.
What a great year.
Exactly.
What a great year for a game.
Yeah, right.
It really was.
I feel like this one's gonna be even better too.
What do you think?
Probably.
So?
I mean,
I
every
think
year
so.
so far has been a great year. You know, when we actually
think
get
so.
the consoles.
Before
segue.
before we get into games though, I do want to have a little bit of a conversation with you, Greg, about some other stuff.
Sure,
I
please.
want to talk about.
Let's bring it down. Let's get serious.
Yeah, let's. Well, this is not a serious conversation. This is more of a casual conversation.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It will come later at this year's conversation.
I want to talk about food and drink right now. So I have a multi-part question for you.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Multi-part question. Easy questions to answer, but it is multi-parter.
Okay.
So, number 1 in this multi-part question is, what is your favorite cocktail to order or make? If you make
Interesting. Fascinating question.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I think, the knee jerk would be old fashioned because it's been around forever. But in that, granted,
Hence
this
the
is
name.
also, I've been around forever too. I would say 2018, December 2018. Jen and I started making, again, Eric Castro, of course, world famous bartender. He sent us his dirty martini recipe. And we started making dirty martinis. And we had been on quite the dirty martini kick for a long time. And then, of course, now she's pregnant. And so now, if you were asking me right now if I was going to go upstairs and make a cocktail, I could go right now for a dirty martini.
A dirty martini. I asked because I feel like you've mentioned old fashions before.
Oh, my God, right? We've been drinking those for so long.
Yeah. And coming off of our beef and stuff, I figured there could be stuff that we can bond over. We
can come back together. Okay,
so
good.
we can come back together. So old fashions came to. I was introduced to old fashions through that movie Crazy Stupid Love, with Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell.
Emma Stone, Steve Carell.
Yeah, Emma Stone. He made that old fashioned with the little squirt and the little all that stuff. I was like, this is a really cool drink.
It's like a show.
Yeah, and then 4 years later, I tried an old fashioned. Right.
Yeah.
Fell in love with them. And then as I've drank old fashions over the years, this past year, for some reason just started throwing up with whiskey.
What?
Whiskey just started
What a
throwing
horror
up.
story.
I know, exactly. It's crazy.
Is it because you're drinking 19 of them or just like because even just one?
So here's the thing. I would drink old fashions, mix them with beer every once in a while, and I would end up throwing up. But the factor that stayed the same throughout all these throwing up nights was whiskey. So then there was one night where I tried to test it out. Let me drink a lot, right? Of not whiskey, but of something else. So I did it.
Hammered.
Yeah, I did it for that charity stream that I did that you came in. If you remember. I drank like 75% of Terramana tequila, right? I drank like 15 shots. Incredible drink.
Yeah,
Didn't
really
throw up. Didn't throw up at all. So I was like, I might be allergic to whiskey now. And I feel like, is that a possibility?
yeah.
I
You
don't
guys
think that's an allergic reaction.
No, why am I throwing up only with whiskey? That's the thing. This is the weird thing that I'm wondering.
That's a weird. Yeah, that's a really. So here's what I want you to do: make one old fashioned tonight. Just one, have that, and then see if you throw up. Because maybe it's not even the. Well, you just say you drank a bunch, but I mean, maybe you're not like straight up allergic to whiskey. You just can't have a lot of whiskey.
Whiskey specifically. That's so weird.
That
Anyway,
is
Just do a shot of straight whiskey and see what happens to you.
Yeah, do it. Get your bourbon down here right now. Get in there. Do a pull. Let's see what happens.
Just do like
Well,
the
I don't have any
smallest
now,
shot, like the smallest shot of whiskey.
I actually recently got into soju. Have you ever tried soju?
Oh yeah, totally.
Soju is incredible.
What's
That's
that?
an incredible drink.
Interesting.
It's like
I
sake.
haven't.
If you've ever had sake,
Oh.
but it's rice wine.
It's
is what it
Korean,
is.
right? Yeah,
it's
I know.
Korean
It's
rice
rice
wine.
Yeah.
So
Often
okay.
it's like a flavored, like a fruit flavor. Like you'll get like a mango or something like that.
So You mentioned Korean. That leads me into my next part of my multi-part question.
Sure.
What is the best chicken wing you've ever had? And have you ever had a Korean chicken?
Wow.
Well, start at the end. The best. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Korean chicken wings. Yes, I have. I remember as if you have a catalog of everything I've ever Instagrammed or tweeted about. We used to live right by in the Sunset in SF before we just moved, and that is a Korean spot, and they had dynamite chicken wings, and they had Korean fried chicken ones. They had soy and garlic ones. They actually, with the chef, I'm not sure if he fully left or if he just has a side thing, but he's doing a thing called, I think, bimbap, that's just delivery wings now that I've tried that are great too. So yes, love Korean fried chicken and love Korean fried chicken wings.
Good.
But the best wing I've ever had.
Oh, see, that's a tough one right there.
Yeah.
Well, it's always that thing of like, I never want it to be just that I am, thinking with nostalgic glasses, but I would say CJ's in Columbia, Missouri, obviously. And what I would say to back up CJ's in Columbia, Missouri, of course, is that I'm literally mouthwatering. I talk about them. Not only do I desperately miss them, not only did I think they were awesome when I lived in Columbia, obviously. When we went back and filmed the Mizzou video, I brought Tim with me, and I was able to take Tim to all sorts of different places he heard me talk about for years. And I took him to Shakespeare's, the pizza place in Columbia. I took him to a bunch of bars, and then we went to CJ's, and he had the CJ's wings, and he's like, "Yo, real talk," because that's how Tim talks. He's like, the pizza at Shakespeare's was fine. It's good. It's not like, the best pizza I've ever had in my world. He's like, these are the best wings I've ever had.
Oh.
Where it was like, that thing of like, I didn't dream this. Cause obviously like, anything from your hometown, like you have nostalgia for it, but what about an outsider coming in with no history with it? And the fact that he said that made me justify that those wings are pretty damn good.
CJ's.
Cool.
I mean, we have a lot. We're in Michigan. I mean, I'm in Michigan. We got bars everywhere. You want to just go bar hopping for an entire night? Michigan's like the place to be. We got breweries and we got stuff everywhere.
Where are you at in Michigan?
I'm like right close to Grand Rapids, like near Lake Michigan, like the west side of it. Man, yeah, you go downtown. There's like a bar there's like several bars like every corner of downtown.
What else you can do in the Midwest, man? You know what I mean? What else are you gonna do? As a Chicago boy, trust me, I'm well aware of all the bars that are around there.
Man,
damn, that explains a lot.
But I don't drink though. I can't.
You sit there and you get platinums.
Well, I'm too much of a baby. I drink alcohol, even if it's something really great. I drink it and I do the whole like little girl like it's too strong.
You'd probably throw up. Adam. It's probably.
I don't throw up. I'm not you, Gino.
Oh.
I at least can hold my alcohol.
He turned it around on you.
I can hold my alcohol down.
Man, I'll be honest with you. Every time I throw up, I really think it's the end of the world. I truly do think it's the end of the world. It's so bad throwing up.
I always love that the conversation the morning after when you've puked or you're hungover and like why do I do this? Like why? Like I'm just not gonna drink anymore. I shouldn't drink anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why you do not drink. Like
3 days later, you're right back to it.
Well, what kind of drunk is everybody? Like how? Like what's like the persona that comes out when you're drunk? Like who do you become?
I fortunately don't get aggressive. I get very friendly. Is what I do. Aggressive drunks are pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
but I get friendly with everyone, which is I guess a good kind of drunk to be. But it has it's those things where you start crying with everybody. You start crying like
it's so beautiful.
I want to give my parents everything. You know what I mean?
I'm so
like,
glad we're all here together.
So, but yeah, I feel like that's what I do when I usually get drunk. Just friendly.
For me, I've been told in my own personal experience, obviously, is that I just get more me. I somehow crank it up even further. I get louder, but I'm also just as happy and just as trying to make people laugh and just as whatever, which obviously can blow up in your face, and it has millions of times. But it is that thing where I've had those, you wake up in the next morning, you're like, oh fuck, and like also like, oh shit, what happened? And then you get it recapped, and I was like, all right, yeah, probably would have done all that sober. So I'm glad that like I don't, go out and start screaming or get mad or whatever. I can just be there and like still be nice Greg.
Yeah, Greg Miller, that's like a 20 out of 10. Then he drinks and he's like a 50 out of 10.
Yeah, I know, right? Imagine how it's. I feel it's more. It's not even. I'm already at 100 all the time. I think it's more like when Thor like sends his lightning into Iron Man's repulsors and it goes up to 400% or whatever.
That's how we get the guitar from Emily's
That's
Away.
how you get the guitar on Emily's Away 3. Yeah, right.
How was the morning after that stream?
Man,
It was fine. If we would have gone and done the entire thing, it would have been, I mean, not even bad. I mean, I would have, woke up maybe hungover or whatever, but I woke up the next day fine because, we finished. I had promised Jen that I would take her to a date night. And, again, like I talked about in stream, right? My amazing wife was like, no, you're not. That's not going to happen. And that's fine. That's fine that's not going to happen. I understand what you're doing today. I understand what these Let's Plays mean. But since we had that hard out at 6, especially because we were 2 out of 5 chapters in, I made it to dinner and we went out and I had 2 glasses of wine. And I came back and we watched that Amy Schumer Expecting documentary on Hulu? Yeah, Hulu? Maybe HBO Max? HBO Max. We watched the first 2 episodes of that and then I fell asleep on the couch and we went to bed and I woke up and I was fine. I went and got my COVID vaccine and came home and did a bunch of stuff around the house and then passed out.
nice.
There you go.
Did you get any other side effects?
No, you know what? I didn't. I was very lucky, especially
That's
because I
good.
know Blessing and Tim, they've been hit hard. Obviously, Andy's
Andy
off
got
today
hit.
because Andy's off today because he got it so bad. And so I had my shot on Saturday. I came home and did a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, we just moved, so there's a bunch of stuff to do around the place that I need to fix up or do whatever with. And I was hardcore sweating, and I don't know if that helped because then I was constantly drinking water, right, and
Yeah.
Gatorade.
We're supposed to hydrate constantly.
Exactly, and I thought it was on the fence of like, well, if I'm doing this, am I dehydrating myself more? But woke up Sunday and had bad allergies, but drank some water and then ran errands and I was fine. And
Man.
today I feel good too.
Man, lucky.
There you go.
Nice.
I know, right? Very lucky, very lucky.
Yeah, Kyle just got
I also
his.
didn't get anything.
Kyle just got his. So
My
he's
day
gonna,
tomorrow should be bad because
Yeah.
I got mine today, my second.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I got my second
Which one did you
Friday.
do?
I got Friday and it killed me.
Moderna squad.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm Moderna too.
Pfizer,
Ooh.
boys. Pfizer, let's go.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe
you
it's
guys.
just you Pfizer kids
Like
are
you
getting the
guys.
bad stuff,
You think so? I feel like
Meanwhile,
Pfizer.
again, Jen got Johnson & Johnson, and then the next day I was like,
Ooh.
how do you feel? She's like, I'm pregnant. I don't know. Is this the pregnancy? Is it the thing? I don't know. I don't feel normal, but I never feel normal.
Man,
Like,
usually
all right.
Now, is it
people-
your baby or Johnson's or the other Johnson? That's what I'd be
Which
asking
Johnson
now,
got you?
right?
Yeah.
Usually you get post symptoms. I guess Jen just got pregnant. That's kind of I don't remember them listing that in the side effects. That's a new one.
The baby's coming out with 5G, not Jen. That'll be fun.
Johnson & Johnson is a baby company, isn't it? So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like
They
that
do a
car.
bunch of stuff, but yeah, that's
They
what
do a
I
bunch
always.
of- yeah.
Yeah, I always remember the no tear shampoo growing up. That was the one I was.
When I
also rem-
when I
Bunch of
first
5G.
when I first heard of like the Johnson & Johnson shot, I just thought people were joking. I was like, oh, it's a Johnson.
Well, certainly this isn't the real name. Certainly the baby powder people are giving me a vaccine.
Exactly. I was like, what's the next? GameStop is gonna start giving a vaccine.
all these
Oh,
people that
God.
do like pharmaceutical and even shampoo, cosmetic, all that stuff, they do a whole lot of stuff. You actually look into how it's all like a certain amount of companies, but they all branch out into all these subsections. But I wouldn't be surprised if more of those were into doing vaccines or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Totally.
So speaking of vaccines, I think we should get into what we've been playing.
Go for it. That was not
What
a
a
great segue,
transition.
Gino.
What a
Good
This
job.
is
man.
this is a good segue because
I know.
we're talking about.
I know where you're going. I'm being legitimate. What a good
I
good
do not know
segue.
where
That was a
you're
good
So-
segue.
I hope that these vaccines get us into the world of Resident Evil, guys, because I've been enjoying it. I want to be honest with you.
I
said-
don't think you'd enjoy it in real life, though. I don't think you'd enjoy it so much in real
Oh
life.
man, I want these werewolf people.
Greg, I'm
I don't know,
freaking.
I don't know. There's a
Greg,
there's
I'm
a
ready.
baby.
He's ready.
I'm ready, dude. You know what I mean?
There's a baby
Got
in
this
Resident
right
Evil
on my
8.
desk.
I don't know.
Okay, so I've been playing Resident Evil 8, right? I played it. I'm too afraid to play it by myself, right? So I play with my sister. And she's watching while I play. We used to do that since we were children, so I like to do that. And I haven't gotten that far. I got up to when you meet the big tall lady.
Okay.
But there was the game got me when it did how I don't know how to describe it. You know how I can only think of like Uncharted when they do those big action sequences and like you're not playing but you are playing, like it's like a cutscene sort of thing.
Kind of scripted, but
Yeah, so
yeah,
it did that, but it did it to a certain extent that I was like, this is not like, you guys are just trying to trick me. And I'm talking about, I feel like we could talk about it, right? So this is just the beginning of the game.
I think, well, Greg, have you beaten Resident Evil 8 or no?
Oh, he has, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So me and Greg have beaten it here.
Yeah, so that part where you're in the village and then all these werewolf men are freaking chasing the shit out of you.
I didn't like that part.
And I love that part so much because of how it tricked me. I was like, it's like telling you, heal, make sure you heal, and then start running. It's telling you all these tutorials, but you had to get caught eventually. You know, it had to happen. It was one of those things where you have to fail. So I was like, wow, dude. Do you guys remember this? Or were you guys, I'm getting confused.
My problem with that part in particular was that I felt like I was going like without any direction. Like there are all these houses and I don't know where I have to go. I thought that eventually one of these houses was gonna be the house that I had to go because I heard it on the radio, but I just kept going and going, and I don't know if this is the right way or not. And they kept attacking me, and I felt like it came out of nowhere in a way that it was so random when they actually caught me. Yeah, since they had already surrounded me before and attacked me before that.
But you see, that's where the fear came in for me. I was entirely lost, and I'm screaming because like I don't know where to go. My sister's screaming at me. She's like, "Go over there. You haven't been over there." And I'm running. I'm freaking slashing these guys, and then I see the big monster guy, and then it's like it's crazy, dude. And I feel like everyone's experience in that situation was different, obviously, because people are just running everywhere. Awesome. And then I pause in the middle of it, and I'm like, all right, so I got to restart because there's no way I'm gonna win this. Like I need to.
You're like, hold on, I'm gonna barf. I had a glass of whiskey.
So I figured, you know what? Let me just die so I can restart and maybe get my bearings because I lost myself there. And then they catch you, right? So and I was like, wow, this is freaking welcome to scare tactics. This is what they just did to me. That's what they did. So that part of it is what sort of sucked me into the game. I was like, this is really cool, actually. I enjoy this. And then meeting the four people that you're gonna, I guess, go up against. That whole sequence there, that cutscene, reminded me of most of Underworld, where you have the lichens surrounding you up here, and then you Kate.
We gotta. I like the line of like, we got a show for you. Let's get this started.
Yeah, that was like such a movie moment.
Yeah,
I was like, this game's gonna be pretty freaking cool. And that's as far as I've gotten, but I really am enjoying it. It's a cool game. I'm scared as hell, but it's a good game.
I like how you mentioned that village attack near the beginning where you're kind of like being overrun by enemies. That is because that part's not cinematic until that part ends. That part's great because that I played that, and that is such a great reference to the beginning of Resident Evil 4.
Oh, is it?
Just because like it's the same thing. Like you go into a house, there's a shotgun, just like the beginning of RE4, but you don't realize that that's what's happening until it's done. And that part's just such a great callback to my favorite Resident Evil game. It's amazing.
Yeah, when all the locals are chasing you.
Yeah.
I have not played that one yet.
Man.
Shocking. It's it's only been released on a couple platforms.
It's only everywhere.
How you missed it.
Also, it is one of those older games now.
I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised Capcom hasn't released the PS5 version of Resident Evil 4.
It's coming. You wait for it. It'll be here before you know it.
No.
Well, you know.
I just want that.
Yeah. What do you know? What do you know?
What do you know?
I know that they've already remade 2 and 3. I'm sure, and I know 4 is the most beloved. It's coming. Don't worry.
Yeah, sure. I don't play them.
Quick interjection about Resident Evil 8. I have more trophies in it than Greg. Greg, a real gamer, never shoved an enemy away after guarding in the story. Never thought it was hard enough to shove an enemy away.
Well, back to the problem I had with Resident Evil is that I never needed a guard. It was just a useless mechanic. And I don't know. It's actually interesting, Alan, as somebody who loves trophies like me. Do you go through and read through the lists ahead of time, or do you play the game?
No, I play the game. I look up trophies after I finish my initial playthrough of the game.
Yeah, me too. And so that was the thing of like, but I talked about it in our review, right? It wasn't until I got to one of the, and this is not spoilers. I know we're trying to keep it top level spoiler free, but like you can at the merchant, make meals that give you permanent boosts. Yeah. And there was one in there of like, whatever it is, guard faster or guard and be able to.
No, it reduces damage. It really greatly reduces damage when guarding.
Yeah. And so I didn't even realize that was a mechanic in the game until I read it. And then even after that, I never used it in that game.
So how do you shop people? Because the text popped up that that like L1 to shove people, but
So-
L1 is guard, and
So what it
Yeah,
is
it has
like
never happened to
when
me.
an enemy rushes you, right? You hold L1 to block for Ethan to hold his hands up in front of him. So when an enemy like tries to grab you or attacks you, right when they actually hit you, if you like let go of L1 and hit it again, Ethan, you'll go into like a small animation where Ethan will like shove like punch him and kick him away.
Like a
And
parry.
it stuns
like
them
a
for just
parry.
like a second for you
Yeah.
to get like a clean shot at them, but it just keeps it just makes it so they don't overwhelm you. So they're not right, because you shoot enemies, man, sometimes they stumble, they're right up, they're gonna kiss you.
So I think I have a theory about the guarding and how you don't really need to use it. I think we've all been seeing these memes about how Capcom loves Ethan's hands and all that stuff. Since they have since Resident Evil 7. I think because his hands come up like this, you know what I mean? It was just a way for them to see them, you know, because when you pick them up, these are extremely detailed hands. You know, so I feel like that's probably something that they did for themselves. You know,
We
Someone
worked
has a
really
hand
hard on
fetish.
these hands. guys.
You can
Yeah,
tell that
so,
Ethan
like,
moisturizes
you
for how
gotta show
pretty
them
they
off.
so
look.
this is just a showcase. You know, like you don't need to guard. It's inconsequential. But just look at these fucking hands. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's because he could do any other manner of guard. Like he could hold his gun up. You know, whatever he's doing. You know, but he's got to bring out the hands. So I feel like that's probably what it is, Greg. So maybe rethink what you're saying. You know.
Well, I don't know what I'm really. I think we're both on the same page. There's a useless mechanic that's
Well,
just
see-
says, hey, look
See,
at
it's,
these
actually,
hands.
it's actually funny. I told the boys this on Saturday. Greg, since you never block, you don't know this. It's actually a cool thing. While Ethan's blocking, you can actually still fire your pistol while he's blocking.
yeah.
Oh, wow,
I
neat. Okay.
did that yesterday because you
Yeah.
stated, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Find it useless since you cannot aim.
Well, if they're standing right in front of you, Ignacio, do you really need aim if they're just right in your business?
Also, I'm with Greg. I have to remind myself of blocking in this game.
Oh
Like,
my
same with Resident
God.
Evil 7.
That's interesting.
But if you don't block,
But-
you take so much damage.
I mean, I
How are
I
you
just
not
did it a
dying
lot.
at like the beginning of the game?
I mean,
you guys
clearly
are
it doesn't
probably,
matter since Greg never did it.
you're probably playing on easy mode.
Nah.
Well, no, I was playing on normal, which what is the? I was actually going for it right now as we were talking about it. Resident Evil, or oh god, I'm typing Resident
Village.
Evil and I'm like Resident Evil. No, I think the IGN review called it out right. Of like, hey, like I was playing this on normal and that's a bad movie. Tristan at IGN wrote the review and
Yeah.
inserted this harden up. It's worth highlighting that on standard difficulty, which is the setting I chose for my initial playthrough of the story, Resident Evil Village felt like significantly less of a challenge than Resident Evil 7 was overall.
Yeah.
Despite no shortage of near-death moments, I actually only perished in Village a total of 3 times over the course of the campaign. I've since restarted the Village on hardcore mode, where enemy movement speed is much faster, a greater scarcity of ammo demands smarter use of environmental hazards like the exploding barrels, and a general sense of desperation is more pronounced. If you're a veteran of the series, I suggest you at least start out on hardcore and see how you do. You can always drop it down at a standard if you need a more fierce level.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, yeah, I never guarded, and I felt like, and I talked about it in the Kind of Funny review, right? Like, for me, Resident Evil Village, it's not that I didn't like it. It's, how the internet works,
Yeah.
where everybody loves it. So me being like, it was fine makes it seem like I hate it.
Yeah.
I felt it was very much forgettable. Like, I don't have the moments of, oh man, and this thing and that,
Yeah.
like that other people did. And I think a big part of it is this, that I
Yeah.
wish I would have been either on the other side of this review and able to play from hardcore, or would have I'm not even, because I'm not a big Resident Evil guy, right?
Yeah.
Right? Resident Evil 7 was the first one that really clicked for me. And then I loved the remake of 2. But I wish I would have been more versed to be like, oh, something's not right on that level. I should crank up the difficulty and go there. I played it through the whole way, and it kind of felt like a Disneyland ride where,
Yeah.
I wasn't getting killed. It felt like things were popping out at me and I was fighting them off, no problem. And I had way too many bullets and all these other things.
Yeah, I'll agree to that, because like until I decided to mess with it later on to see how good they were, up until I decided to mess with it for fun, I never used my pipe bombs or my mines, because like I never needed them. And for the longest time, I never knew that you could buy recipes, so I only ever could craft handgun ammo until like near the end of the game, and that never mattered because I just always had bullets, like always. So I was
Yeah,
like,
there was one part
I
which
like,
was
I'll
ridiculous
just-
with like the pistol, right? Where I remember having like 64 bullets.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh, that's way more than I ever
yeah.
had any other ones,
Yeah.
right? And then I was like, oh, well. In retrospect and reading this, I'm like, huh. But then again, it's this weird thing of like, The game, of course, when I did die, is so quick to be like, do you want to lower the difficulty? Would you like to lower the difficulty?
Really fast.
It's like literally first death. Like, do you want to lower the difficulty? I'm like, dude, come on. I'm not even struggling. It's just like, you know, I think it would have been interesting to see it go the other way and be like, hey, we noticed you're sailing through this without issue. Would you like to up the difficulty?
Dude, I'll die in a cutscene moment where I just make like the wrong step, but not from an enemy. I'll just die in like a cinematic moment, and I'll like mash X to replay, and the game's just like, you want to lower the difficulty? Like, dude, I died in a scripted moment. Like, come on, I'm not even in combat yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that happened to me.
I'm pretty much
funny.
right where Gino is. So my complaints so far are mostly how at the beginning, of course, I had the problem where it felt like I had no direction at all. And then right after that part, I felt like the game has too much direction in the sense that it feels like it is one hallway that I just have to go forward. Whereas for 7, you start with the whole compound and the house, where it feels like a labyrinth where you have to find all this other stuff to do and the keys for this and that and whatever. And to me, this one feels way more linear. And from what you guys are saying, it sounds to me like it might end up going the route of like from 2 and 3 to 4, 5, and 6, which ended up being more action focused. Like what you're saying about how many bullets you had, or me saying that it felt more like a hallway rather than this whole section that I have to explore. To me, it sounds like they are going more of the action route, which I don't think it will end up being good for the series if they go back again to that.
Well, what's the kind of, I mean, all the stuff they've talked to, you know, IGN had a whole bunch of interviews with the producers, right? And it was that they had the whole, okay, you know, we're balancing difficulty of Village based on what we saw from 7.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think really what it sounds like happened here is they gave the player more agency over what kind of game they were playing.
Yeah.
And again, what I was talking about and what I loved about, you know, Resident Evil 2, what I loved about Resident Evil 7 was that feeling of, I think in 7, I talked about it a lot in the review of getting out of a battle or a room and having just one bullet left, two bullets left, and really feeling, and I think I described it at the time as like a masterclass of game design where it's giving me the illusion and the feeling of being down to my last bullet, but in reality, it's designed just the way it is. I was given just enough to it. And I feel like according to Tristan, right, in, you know, my own experience, that the normal difficulty I played on was way more into the, hey, let's not make it super scary. It can be an action. It can be a shooter. It can do the thing. Whereas I don't think that's what Resident Evil, at least what I connect out of Resident Evil, should be. Because I obviously wasn't into, you know, 6 or 5 before it. And so I think if I would have played it this way, I would have had a better time with it.
Yeah.
It seems like Ignacio, it could suffer from the same issue that back when we played Resident Evil 3 Remake, the same issue it had with 2 Remake coming out before it. Because I played 3 Remake before 2. And that one was a shorter, more compact, more action-based Resident Evil. So I loved it. And then after that one, I went into 2, which was the, you know, more survival horror-ish kind of game. And that it didn't hurt Resident Evil 3 for me because I had already played it beforehand. So this might be that same situation where 8 is more compact and action heavy, and if that one came out before, people would love it, and then 7 would be, you know, just as well regarded as it is now. Either way. So that's interesting. That's an interesting way to look at it.
It's like that, I believe, because like from liking them both and watching my friend play it on my Twitch channel, like Resident Evil 8 is this thing where it's trying to appease 2 things. It's combining the good elements of 7 with the action style gameplay of 4. 8 is like this middle ground of like, did you like 7? That's what got you into Resident Evil again? Cool. Oh, but you still love Resident Evil 4? Well, here's 8, where it's kind of like them meeting together.
Yeah.
So that's the feeling I get when I play 8, is it feels like this combo of the 2. Because it's actiony like 4, but then it's also trying to be first person horror like 7. Okay.
There's something else I've been playing that I want to talk about. I want to talk about, and I want to pitch this. You guys know I like to pitch this game a lot. So you guys know what I'm talking about. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14 online.
Oh God, here he goes.
And what better person to pitch this to than Greg?
Put the podcast on autopilot is what I'm hearing right now. We're going to talk about this for 20 minutes. It's going to be Gino at the pulpit, filibustering, telling you why you need to play this.
Well, it's a good thing I got to play Resident Evil 8, so I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Forget
I have this
forget your DC Universe Online. Forget your Star Wars. What is it? Star Wars KOTOR? What is it? Knights of the
Old Republic. Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Forget about all that, Greg. Forget about all that. On your PS5 right now, I know you have it somewhere around you. Turn that on.
Right there, I see it. It's right over there.
Turn that on and download the free trial for Final Fantasy 14 Online. Now, this is where I want to circle back to Final Fantasy 7, right? You enjoyed Final Fantasy 7.
I did.
This is unrelated to that. But it is in the Final
Yes, I'm aware.
This is related.
Yeah. Did you like it? Yeah, well, unrelated.
It's in the Final Fantasy world, correct? So people think, this is Final Fantasy 14. It's the 14th installment. I don't know any Final Fantasy games. Why would I like this? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
The way Final Fantasy works, you know this. They just take little things from each other, and the story is completely unrelated to each other in some instances.
Of course.
So I know that in some ways you do like MMOs.
Uh-huh.
Because you've played, the DCEU, you've played the DCEU universe.
What is it,
lag when this
900
doesn't
hours
work?
or whatever I have in DC? I forget now. I think it's something like that, 1,000.
There you go. So I've been playing this game with friends. For the longest time, for some reason this year it's just booming with people trying it, and I think it's because of that new free trial that came out.
Sure.
So I've gotten a bunch of friends to play it. I'm always preaching people to play it online, and a lot of people have been trying it. So the good thing about this free trial is that it gives you so much content. You just sent something. So Greg just sent something into Discord about he played Final.
It's not.
I'm not trying to look at it.
I'm not trying to stop
Don't
your
look at
report
it.
tracks.
Don't
I'm
look
just
at it.
calling it out. I wanted to bring it out. If
But
you remember,
so you have played this?
August 27th, 2013. Let's play Final Fantasy 14 with Greg Miller and Destin Legary.
Whoa,
Sir,
whoa.
I have tried Final Fantasy 14.
I was 10 years old, Greg. That doesn't matter, dude.
No, Greg, there's the new trial though. Come on, it's different now.
Yeah.
From 2013 to 2021 now, that game has improved vastly,
I'm sure.
Greg. Vastly.
Well, the reason I was putting it in there wasn't to derail the conversation. I wanted to bring it up that when we did it in 2013, because this was when they were rebooting it, and it was a Realm Reborn, right? They sent Destin and me down from IGN to go play at the Square SF office. I don't remember where that was. Anyways, doesn't matter. We went there and we played for a while, right? The developer, and I remember liking it. It wasn't that it was a torture thing. We enjoyed what we played, but at the time, I forget if why I wasn't going to get into it, or maybe was it console? Yeah, I'm playing on PS3 here. I don't know if it was retail or not. Doesn't matter. But I didn't.
Well, 2013,
I didn't bite
that's
on
when the
final
PS4
thing.
came out.
Yeah, but I think we were playing on PS3. That's
It
how
was
old
on
this game is and how
PS3,
old
yeah.
I am. Right? Yeah.
It was a busy year, though.
My thing about it is I don't remember anything about it, so I'm actually interested for you to tell me more about because that's the big question, I guess, is that me, Gino. You listen to the podcast here and there.
Yes.
Granted, I'm 40 years older than you, but you know what I like and what I don't like. Would I like this? Is it? I don't usually like the magical oldie worlds. You know what I mean? These old timey worlds where I got a blacksmith and somebody's walking around with a wooden cart.
That's the thing. Greg. If I got someone into it that strictly plays Call of Duty, I feel like you could play this. You could play this. The reason I say you would like it, and most people would like it. First of all, it is just worth a try because it's free, right? It's free.
Sure, yeah. What I have to lose? Nothing.
Yeah, it gives you so much content
Time.
for free.
Yeah.
You will lose time, but you will.
Of course.
You will not regret
That's
it.
video games in general, though, right?
You will not regret it. So the beauty of this game is that I always compare it to World of Warcraft. I think World of Warcraft is an MMO that is very not beginner friendly. It throws you into this and shows you so much mechanics, all this kind of stuff, and it overwhelms you. This game, it's so expertly designed that it throws everything at you when it needs to, and you will slowly gain that footing that you need to enjoy the game. And you say you don't like all that fantasy and all that stuff. It's such a beautiful world. There's also the soundtrack. I could go on about the soundtrack. Freaking Nobuo Uematsu and
You had a
freaking
whole episode
Soken.
of the show talking about it.
Oh yeah,
With Michael Hyam.
I did.
If you want to hear this, it already
I
exists.
did speak with Michael Hyam about it.
Hyam.
Yeah, you had Michael Hyam on a Gamescast as well to talk about a little bit about
big
it.
fan of it, yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he tried to convince you. So this is what I'm here for now. He buttered you up with it, let you know, put it in front of your face. Now I'm telling you, try it, Greg. because you are gonna.
What
like
is
it.
the moment-to-moment gameplay like?
It's like DC Universe Online.
Okay.
It's just like if you like those kinds of games, it's that traditional MMO kind of game, but it doesn't bore you.
But it's action RPG. It's action MMO. So I'm actually commanding it. It's not like is it like it's not like clicking in Old Republic where the move just plays out. I'm actually moving and.
It is like that.
Okay.
It's like Old Republic where you are clicking your skills and you're doing that. So,
because I don't think you know DC Universe Online too well if you think it's like that.
Yeah.
DC Universe Online, right? So, don't worry, action MMO.
It's like Star Wars. It's like Star Wars.
Up, throw them, do stuff.
All right, it's like Star Wars. Then
Gino's just giving you the instructions. He wants you to piece it all together and make the decision yourself.
Yeah.
Sure. No, and again, this isn't me saying that doesn't mean I'm getting ready to screenshot and put it on Twitter for you right now. I'm downloading it right now. So there you go. So I will do it. But like,
all right, I'm leaving this.
I haven't downloaded too. I haven't opened it in weeks.
See, Greg, I insulted Gino. I downloaded FF14 on my PS5.
Yeah.
And then same day, for some reason, I went back into my PS5 and I didn't even boot it. I just deleted it.
Yeah, which is just
understandable.
It's an insult to
and now Gino doesn't want me to play FF. Like Gino, I'm the one person he does not want to play this game.
So here's the thing. Ignore the platinum. Don't worry about it, Greg.
Oh yeah, no.
Let's
I'm
not
not
worry.
even trying for a platinum.
Let's not worry about that.
Do you have the platinum? Is it a crazy one?
No, I don't have it.
Wow.
I'm not a trophy hunter.
Not even your favorite game of all time.
It is a very time-consuming platinum. For what I have been doing though, since it did the PS5 upgrade, I've been popping old trophies, which is cool to see.
Oh, what a lovely thing. You know what I mean? What a beautiful thing.
It's the easy way out. It's the easy. I mean, I've done it too.
It's the short way. You take the long road. This is the short road to getting the trophy.
I've done it too. So I can't criticize it.
So obviously, if you do try it, you go on my server. I'll lead you wherever you need to go.
God, it's got servers.
I'll show off. All those things.
What server am I going in?
You're going on Primal Ultros. Michael Hyam is also on that server if you want to.
Do you ever play with Michael?
He has not added me yet. No, he has not added me. So,
that sounds like you're in front of a congressional committee. He has not added me yet, sir. He has not added me yet.
We have not actually met up, my friend. We have not exchanged information.
He is in a guild, a giant bomb guild you could join, or you could join mine that I just created.
Looks like time's up on that one, so I'm not too worried about it.
No.
So mine's the new one. So there you go. All right. Show you the ropes, Greg. Beef is squash.
So you run into an interesting time. So you run into me at an interesting time because today I had this conversation internally, right? Internal conversation of I have to stop. We can curse on this podcast, right?
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah.
I have to stop fucking around with Returnal. Like I need to just be in a committed relationship with Returnal until the junk's out of my system. Because what I keep doing with Returnal, right, is like this is similar to the conversation earlier we were having, right? Review for Returnal's coming up. I was already behind because I took the week off for moving. Got to be able to talk about it on PS I Love You with Blessing in Paris, but then it was right into Resident Evil. Played Resident Evil all the way through. Didn't touch Returnal because I wanted to get through Resident Evil. Got through Resident Evil. Came out. Played like one night of Returnal, like just an hour. Then I went over and played a lot of the Retromania. Then we've been doing Fall Guys and stuff. We've been doing Emily is Away. Played a couple other things over the weekend, little things here and there. Got another thing for review, and I was like, am I actually going to commit to this? Started it, and then last night I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling this to 1,000%. Let's go over here. Went over there, started up Returnal again, and Returnal is so good and has its hooks in me, but I keep doing the thing where I'll play it for 30 minutes. I'll play it for an hour, and then I'll come back in 2 days, which means I come back and I'm like, I've forgotten what this boss's tactics is. I forget how I should be engaging with this thing.
Yeah.
So like right now, after playing last night and then this morning before getting into the other shows I was doing, I was in a good groove of it. And so I'm having that conversation of like, cool, do I not play anything but Returnal? And like the date, and I know this sounds ridiculous because it's like 3 days out. Do I not play anything except Returnal until Mass Effect drops? Like, do I wait? Because I feel like if I keep doing this, I will always be in biome 1 and I will never make any progress because I keep almost resetting my own progress, right? Of like getting to wave 3 or wave 3 or whatever of the boss and be like, all right, he does that as he kills me. I'm like, gosh, yeah, he does that. I forgot about that. I need to do this where I just pound my head into it over and over again for a while. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing it. So I feel like I just in my head was like, no distractions. And now you're like, why don't I try this giant MMO? I'm like, fuck, that's a distraction.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of Returnal, I have question about that, because I've only played it for like 3 hours so far. I've not gotten much time in, but my critique so far was that it hasn't felt like I'm progressing that much yet. Whereas like in Hades, it was like the numbers are going up, or I'm collecting this thing, or there was
same with like Rogue Legacy, right? Where even your fails were coming out, and you have more gold, you're putting something in, you're like, okay, I feel like the little bit of progress on everything. So.
Yeah, so like, have you felt similarly with that game of like it feels more difficult to progress, or it just?
For me, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. I feel like there isn't a tangible look at my character, look at my build, I've progressed feeling to it in the ways there are for a lot of other ones. For me, and it's surprising because I don't think I would if I would have read this on paper, I would have been like, cool, it's not going to be for me. It is the feeling of the game that is the progression for it. It is the thing of like, now that I see these guys that, you know, the for lack of a better term, like the Xenomorphs, the guys who run on the ground and have the tails and shoot the things out at you, like knowing that they're going to go down in one hit if I can get in and melee them means that now I've developed a play style where it is zipping around the map, dodging around their sides, slashing them. Whereas before it would be that I would wait for them to come to me. Then when they get close, they do a melee attack. But if I can get closer to them, I can melee. It's like, it's little things like that of me. For me, it's, you know, live, die, repeat, which I know is the movie, obviously, but live, die, and repeat of like going through this thing and being like, all right, cool. I've figured out a better way to engage with that. Okay. The stupid Banshee characters that show up and are easy to kill, but when I'm out of bullets and reloading, they go orange and go at me, right? If I do a back dash as they come in, I can finally get away from that. Or the big red guy that runs around figuring out a better way to fight him, or the Groot dudes. Like, the progression is not as tangible, which I understand is a turnoff to people, whereas for me, it's very engaging. When, like, that's the thing of, like, you know, when I on our review of Resident Evil, at the end of it, you know, Tim was like, oh yeah, I think Resident Evil is gonna be on my short list for game of the year. And this is before the scores posted. I was like, wow, I don't think so. And he's like, well, what do you think game of the year was? Not in an antagonistic way. And I was like, well, right now I'd say like Returnal or It Takes Two. And, you know, well, the review went up and obviously everyone wanted to beat the hell out of me because I said Resident Evil's fine and didn't recommend a purchase. And it was like,
how dare you?
Don't you think it's a little disingenuous to say Returnal's your game of the year when you haven't even gotten out of Biome 1? This is the old thing. And I was like, well, I've already put more hours into Returnal than I did Resident Evil, the roll credits on Resident Evil.
That's
and
fair. Yeah.
For me personally, I'm having more fun and a more rewarding experience with Returnal. And this is not meant to talk shit about Resident Evil. I want you to play games and enjoy whatever you enjoy. But it is that thing of like, I can totally also see sitting there and being like, you've put, I didn't check my clock today, but 10 hours into Returnal, right? And it's like, but you're still in the first place. You still haven't beaten the first boss, right? And it's like, part of that is what I'm talking about earlier of like, I get so distracted in Returnal because I play it so not frequently enough. Yeah. Where I'm running through and cool, I'm going to just get to the boss. Oh, well, there's this room over here. Do I risk it? And then I go in there and I fall and it's you know, the door's locked and there's 3 giant things like, fuck, all right. But it's also learning that I shot a thing off the wall to go into that room. I know that room's a challenge. So next time around, if I'm having the run, don't go and do that, right? Don't go and have that. Right. Like just today or last night, I guess, I finally found the house key, which opens the house and does a different thing, which then gave me the astronaut that I've heard about. And it's like, okay, cool. Like the game has little things in there. And like, you know, when I got Melee, that was a big move for me that really solidified what was happening in this game of like, cool, like progression isn't as simple as, oh, I got to Biome 3. Oh, I did this thing. It is very much about these little things you're learning as you go. And I feel like for me personally, when I learn them and then let it sit, that's when I kind of lose some of it. And I come back and it's kind of like coming back to school after taking a couple of days off for being sick. Like you need to get your wheels up again.
Okay, cool.
See,
that's encouraging then.
Dude, the way you're describing, I haven't played Returnal yet. The way you're describing it, that's like how the Souls games are played. Like your build itself isn't necessarily getting stronger. The way of you progressing, getting better, is you learning and just getting better over time. It's the internal progression, not the external one.
Yeah, which I and again, you know, for Souls and stuff, which I played Bloodborne and enjoyed, but like didn't like love the way people did. Like, I think again on face value, if we were talking about Returnal that way, I don't know if I would be like, I need to, but the gameplay is so good, and the fact that it is a third-person shooter, that's the other thing of why I think people have this conflict with the progression of like, it looks like a third-person shooter, so it feels like you should be checking trophies and doing the thing and moving to the next planet, whereas like just the way they've put the story in there and the way they've put the gameplay in there, I think just I don't care. There'll be the runs. I think the thing I can talk to the highest of, like, there will be runs where, well, clearly I'm not going to be able to even get to the boss this time, right? I've taken so much damage, yada. But rather than just die, I keep playing, which I wouldn't normally do in these kind of games. Where if it was like, all right, well, cool, my goal is to beat the boss, so I'll just die here and come back in fresh and get back to it. This one, it is like, well, I can still learn something, or I can find a new artifact, or I think that one of those was when I found the house key, where I was like, oh, God, this is awesome. Still screwed me in the long run because I'm like, well, the astronaut revives you immediately after you die. So I was like, well, I'm already down to a quarter of a health bar, and I've kind of scoured the entire world for resources. So it's not like I'm going to get back to a full to go in there and do it. But hey, this is still progress. I've still learned how to do this. I've still gotten that part of it.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you
haven't played
on my
yet.
thoughts on Returnal, where I'm just in the second biome, but the reason that I play it is not because of the progression itself, but because in a way it does feel arcadey, where I'm not playing for the progression, but for the gameplay itself. And so, I get, Kyle, what you were saying, how you do not see a progression, but Greg, to your point, it does feel like even though the progression isn't tangible, it is in you. Like, you know now what to do, what not to do, or what to improve, or whatever that. Hey. And even I'm on Biome 2, I just once got to the boss, and I was like, with very little health, I had no way of beating it, but I still went through it because I wanted to learn the pattern and see even how far I can go. Yeah. And so that's why I go back to Returnal, but you have to understand what you get out of it. Like, it isn't your typical third-person action shooter like Uncharted or whatever third-person action shooter. It is an arcade experience. It is a Housemarque game. Housemarque does arcade, and this is that. It is an arcade game.
Yeah. Resogun, baby.
Yeah, of course, right. And again, that's the thing of like what we talked about before, of like, that's the other way to look at it. Because it is a roguelite, sure. It is a third person, sure. But it is an arcade game. And arcade games all the time, right? You would die and start all the way over and have to go that way. And I think that eventually there's a progression of, once you unlock the door to the boss, you can get back there quicker than the first time around. So it's all these little things, but I'm talking about it as somebody, again, who is playing it as doing a disservice to the way I'm playing. And granted, I've never been the Andy Cortez's of the clicking heads. So it's like, I need to keep myself in top Returnal form, I think, to actually make the real progress from it. But even tonight, like, I feel like tonight I'll beat the first boss, because guess what? It'll be the first time in a week and a half, maybe, since I've actually played consecutive nights, which sounds ridiculous, but the way life works and, the way my job works, it is about bouncing around and stuff. But now Gino's gotten download Final Fantasy. Everyone on Twitter is excited. Blessing wants to play.
You've made a lot of people excited.
You don't have to do it. Just pause the download. Do it. You don't have to.
I kind of want to see it.
I still have to play New
Replicant. A lot of people
so.
happy. Don't listen to the haters on here. I'm already seeing people say, "Get ready to sleep."
Haters.
Like, let's not listen to them. This game is incredible. This game is incredible.
I'll listen to you.
We'll see how far he gets.
All right, guys. Beef is
he creates a character. Okay.
Hey, this isn't me saying I'm like committed for life. We'll see.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. Yeah. But the beef is squashed for us now. This is I feel like this is the end of it. We've bonded wholeheartedly now, entirely.
Oh, one big happy family. Yeah.
This is incredible.
You'll have to see.
Primal Ultros. Just you know what? I'll add you on Discord now, and I'll send it to you.
I will never ever look at Discord that way, but thank you.
Okay.
I got Primal Noctis. I got it. Primal Noctis. When I see it, I'll see it.
Every single night, I'm gonna just send you the name of the server.
Well,
I got 1 minute left in the download, so I can go straight from. Well, I gotta create a character right away, right? So I can't just join the server.
Greg, just do presets.
How many servers are there? How many servers?
Don't design it. Just preset it.
When you create it, you join the server. So you can.
How many servers are there? There can't be that many, right? I'll see Primal Noctis. Primal Noctis. I'll look for Primal. Is there another Primal? I'll be fine.
I don't want to confuse you. There's data centers, and then in those data centers, there's servers. You know what I mean? So.
Greg, at this point, you might as well
just respond to the Primal Noctis.
Greg, at this point, you might as well just delete it.
You're saying Noctis,
just delete
are you joking? Because it's Ultros.
It was 50-50. I knew it was a Noctis, but I also didn't know the real word.
There you go. So,
Gino opened the door, showed you the beautiful pictures, and then he ripped it down.
I'll bookmark the tweet for you.
There you go. Wow. Who would have thought, guys? Huh? Who would have thought?
No, he'll delete it. He'll delete it.
We'll see.
He'll delete it.
Well, Greg, I want to ask you something. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Then I'm going to ask you a challenge.
Okay.
My first question is related to trophy hunting as well, because us being, the real gamers of this group right here.
You and me, yeah.
Yeah, us. So what even, I just want to know a simple thing. What got you even into hunting trophies? And then as a side thing, like why does the Nintendo have like rewards? What's Nintendo doing?
Sure. For me, getting into trophies, I think honestly, it's multi-tiered. When the achievements dropped on Xbox, and I was working at the newspaper, I got an Xbox 360, and I remember playing Dead Rising, and I'm a huge zombie fan, and so after I'd beaten the game, and it was that, like, looking into it, and it was, whatever it was, they get the zombie genocide trophy or whatever, kill however many thousands of zombies it was, and looking up how do you do this, and it's like, oh, you drive around the parking garage and you run this basically route, and if you do it for however many hours, you had it done. And I remember coming home from work and doing that over and over again. And while that was obviously a nails on the chalkboard mundane thing, what had got me to that point was I was like, oh, I want all the achievements in this game. And so I'd already gone through, and what I loved about achievements was it was giving me more to do in a game I already liked. So like, it was like there was the achievement for like, I forget how far, but run across a bunch of zombies' heads for however many yards or whatever. Use this kind of weapon combination. And what I found it doing that I thought was interesting outside of the genocide trophy was having me play a game I already dug, but play in a different way. Yeah. Whereas I think in years past, my entire, gaming career or whatever, like, sure, there's, endless combinations on how to play this RPG or whatever action game it is, whatever weapon you want to choose and upgrade. But once I picked my thing, that's what I did. And so I only knew it from that vein. So suddenly to be able to have this thing that was a carrot on the end of the stick to branch out, I thought was cool. But I wasn't playing Xbox consistently enough where I was getting lost in that ecosystem. Yeah. And so then a big part of it was coming, getting hired at IGN, moving out here. And at the time, obviously, PlayStation 3 not having any kind of achievement system, Xbox already having an achievement system, but me being so anchored in the PlayStation ecosystem, right? Where, people always want to throw in my face that I'm a Sony fanboy when I consider myself more a Sony beat reporter, where it's like, that's my job to cover PlayStation. So yeah, I know a lot about it, and I'm going to be the guy you come to talk about PlayStation, but it's not, I don't say everything's great with PlayStation. So it would have, for me at the time, with the amount of reviews I was doing, it would have been hard for me to get seriously into achievements while also covering PlayStation as effectively as I thought I would for my job. And so when PlayStation trophies finally came around, and I think it speaks to what you always see with comic books, what you always see with rebooted movie universes, where it was cool, Super Stardust, cool, Uncharted, I am here at ground zero. Like and this is the time when like I was joking around about it, but it's true that like you could play everything that came out. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? There weren't dozens of digital, not even a chance, dude. There wasn't dozens of digital indies that were coming out every day. It was, a few maybe here and there, but then it was just the box copies every Tuesday. Yeah. And so it was that when games came out with trophies, oh shit, pop it in, let's go. And so it was that I was able to go and get from ground zero, be in on it and build from there. Yeah. And so I think it's the same reason you talk to a lot of people who are Xbox achievement hunters who are like, oh, I never got into trophies because by the time they came around, I'm so invested in Xbox. Why I didn't want to build
They're already so sucked in that they're like, I can't just undo all this work.
Totally. And so, yeah, it was the idea that these things kept me around. And for the games, I know we've already joked a lot about the garbage platinums I have. Oh, yeah. But for the great platinums I have, like if I platinum a game, I always talk about that for me is in a good platinum. I always talk about being like the highest compliment I can give it. Yeah, is that I wanted not only to beat it, to then stick around another however many hours and do all the stuff you need to do.
Yeah, the thing that always that started to get me into trophies was like I would play games and I would usually just kind of like, my problem is like I play games and I just beat them and my brain's usually like, all right, now I'm kind of done. Trophies for me stem from the fact of, okay, I beat a game. I beat like a PlayStation game. Cool, I'm done with it. I don't do anything else in it. Then it was the whole thing of like, oh, there's trophies. Now it's like, oh, a game I've really loved and enjoyed. Now I can do more. There's more stuff for me to do. There's reason for me to go back into it, to play it more, to experience that world more, to do more things. And that's what always got me into it, was like, okay, cool. Now there's things I can do more in the game. Like, oh, I have the thing where like some games I don't love and I collect trophies and I actually walk away loving the game more. Some games I love, I collect trophies and I end up disliking the game more than I liked it.
And then there's a witness on you.
Yeah, there's the thing. I don't like the witness, Greg. I can't. I can't do
so
it.
Good.
I mean, like, well, I mean, because the puzzles. You don't
Yeah,
like
I'm not a
puzzles?
puzzle guy. I had
Dude,
to,
I'm the same way. And that,
I had
there's
to-
nothing wrong with that.
I had to
I
look
feel
up-
like that's the same thing where I'm not a Res Evil guy. So
Greg,
it's like,
I had to look up video guides to solve the puzzles, and then I got to the last thing in the game, and it was like, okay, do this challenge. Okay. Oh, by the way, the puzzles are randomly generated, so you can't use a guide. What the fuck am I doing here?
But so then the funny thing is he came to me because I like the game. I've not platinumed it, but
Yeah.
he's still like how do you do all this stuff? I was like, well, you need to take the knowledge that you learn from these.
he's like, I learned no knowledge.
Yeah, no,
that was it.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't remember anything.
Yeah,
'cause I just went for.
Kyle told me, he goes, well, everything the
Trophies.
game's taught you leading up to this, you have to incorporate all together. And I DM'd Kyle back, and I was like, Kyle, I use video guides. I have learned nothing. And then Greg,
That's a
I
heartbreaker.
don't know how this would
Alan.
work. We
cheating
need
for
because you play so many games and you get so many games and you do so many easy platinums, it's gonna take me so much work to catch up to you. We should just squash this. We should just agree on a game that's either we have not played or a game that we both like, and we should just race to see who could platinum it first, and that'll solve who the better trophy hunter is.
Ooh, I like
Platinum.
that.
And we can't use
Interesting.
guides. So if it's a new
Sure,
game, we
fair.
can't use guides. So you have to do
Okay,
it
what
all-
about? See, here's my problems with this. I'm not saying no.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying here are my problems
Got
with
it.
it. Is that number one? If it's not already something I'd want to be platinuming, I feel like I wouldn't want to platinum it just
Yeah.
for the chase. You
No,
know what I
it,
mean?
it could be something that we both like that we can agree on.
And so then number two, the question becomes like, okay, but like, so then it's something upcoming. What if it has a shitty trophy list? You know what I mean?
Can I give a suggestion?
Yeah.
No, you
Greg,
can't, because I think we all know where we're going. We all know what's going to end up being. What I'd bring to the table, what I would bring to the table
Go for
is
it.
Ratchet and
Gino,
Clank.
don't say
I'd
that.
bring Ratchet and Clank to the table.
I'll do Ratchet and Clank. I'll do it.
Okay.
See,
I'll show
I was
you.
gonna suggest Jedi Fallen Order.
Sure.
Are you saying the first Ratchet and Clank?
No,
No,
the new
the
one.
new one.
The brand new one. Because
doesn't that like? Wouldn't you get that before? Though, Greg?
man, that sucks for you. That sucks for Alan, doesn't it?
No, see, here's the thing. This is what
You want to go by the completion time
This is
on
what's
PSN
gonna
profile?
make me look better, Gino. You ready? Greg's gonna get it early. He'll play it. I'll get it on release day, and then I'll play it. And then we'll have that. Well, Greg and I will have our both just initial playthroughs of Greg doing his review of it and playing it, and then I played it for fun on release day. And then it'll be a thing where like, okay, we both have minimal experience of the game. Now we're gonna race to platinum it on just like a junk account or something else, and just see who can get it first.
We should do a completion
I'm
time.
never
Greg
doing a
just said.
junk account. You kidding me? Yeah, I think no. Just go off of PSN profiles because then PSN profiles puts it on there.
Yeah,
Whoever
but again, you'll
completes it
play it. You'll
quicker.
play. Okay, all right. Greg's
good.
gonna
What
get
were you
early.
gonna say?
So,
Why, I'm not skipping cutscenes, so don't do that shit. I'm in it for the story.
okay, yeah, I'm in it for the story too.
Okay, just make sure.
Sure.
But Greg
There
will
you
get
go.
it early. So if
Interesting.
Greg can get it early
like
and I
this.
can still platinum it before him, that's just gonna.
Oh well, yeah. If you do that, then I mean, for sure, double fuck me. But what I'm saying is like, even me getting early wouldn't matter because yeah, if I platinum it on embargo day or whatever, fine.
Oh,
You'll still be able to see how long it took. me.
days.
Yeah, exactly. Because
okay,
like when you look
okay.
at it, right, like my platinum on Valentine Candy Break head to head is 33 minutes 41 seconds. Platinum in 33 minutes 41
Hey,
seconds.
I want you to know that I platinumed Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on the PS5 in about a few minutes. So,
How the fuck did you do that?
because I planned on the PS4 and
Okay,
that's
okay,
right.
good call. I didn't
right.
realize it was one of those that read it. Oh, similar, yeah. Marvel's Avengers PS5. I platinumed in 2 seconds.
See,
Nice.
all right. Let's see.
Okay,
let's
cool,
see
that'll
who
be
can.
fun.
Let's see who can platinum Ratchet and Clank and Rift Apart faster.
Got it.
Challenge
Let's
accepted.
go. Let's go into some housekeeping, guys.
Yeah, go for it. Hey there. If you're enjoying the show, then I'd highly suggest you check out our website, thewhatnauts.com. We are also a podcast, so if you search us on a podcasting platform, you'll find us there. Just type in The Whatnauts and you'll see all of our shows. They're all right there that you could enjoy. We also have a Patreon account, so we would be very honored if you check that as well. We have a $1 tier that gets you all of our episodes early. You get them before anybody else. I mean, who doesn't love getting things before other people? Isn't that great? It only costs you $1. If you did that, that'd be super awesome. But if you want all of our exclusive content, that's our $3 tier. For $3, you get all of our exclusive content, everything we've ever done for exclusive content. It's all yours. It's all inclusive, and it's all exclusive at $3 just for you to enjoy. So shout out to Sam, who's been supporting us for a long time. You're super kick-ass, and your support over the years has meant the world to us, and we are very thankful for it so much. Thank you to Greg Miller as well, who also supports us on Patreon. You both mean a lot, and it means the world. Also, do you like watching Twitch? Do you like watching live streams and just chilling and hanging out and having a good time? Well, we actually have a Twitch channel as well, twitch.tv/the Whatnauts. We stream every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, the Captain's Log. A really nice chill podcast that you can just sit back, relax, hang out, and we just talk about fun, silly topics. And you can enjoy that, like I said, every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. We also stream on Sundays. That's more of a gaming stream. So check us out on Sundays as well, depending on whoever's playing or whatever game they are currently playing. Check that out. But if you have Amazon Prime, did you know you actually have a free Twitch Prime subscription? You can actually subscribe to a Twitch channel once a month for absolutely free. You can give us Amazon's money. And I mean, Amazon has so much money already. Don't you want to just make them give their money away to somebody else for free? Well, if you did, we would be incredibly honored if you gave us, the Whatnauts, your subscription. Wow, my brain kind of failed there for a minute. That's okay, it's all right. But yes, doing any of these, liking, sharing, subscribing, checking us out, leaving a review on a podcast service, all of it means a lot. It helps us out so much, and it's support like that that allows us to make bigger and better content for you. So back to the show and enjoy.
And we're back.
Wow, that was fast.
Now,
Here we are. We are fast
That
indeed.
pitch was solid.
We were gonna do some news stories in here, but I think for the sake of time, we might skip those. We were gonna mention the Division Heartland and stuff like that, which I am excited for.
I can't wait to see what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know you want it.
Ignacio, can I toss it to you then?
Sure. Now, before that, Kyle, I'm assuming that for the housekeeping, you mentioned our review for I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. I want to take the opportunity to, Greg, I want to pitch you, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. I don't remember. Did you end up watching Your Name or not?
Yeah, no, I watched Your Name a long time ago.
Yeah. No, it is in the same style. I know the name I Want to Eat Your Pancreas is weird, but it is the same style of movie. And I know you probably like it, Jen will probably like it, and I'm sure both of you will end up crying. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas.
Okay, I thought that's what it was, but that's, it sounds crazy.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but it is the same style of movie as Your Name. Okay. And if your heart is not of stone like Kyle over here, you'll probably cry multiple times.
Is it streaming somewhere?
And it ruined for me.
Kyle, do you know?
Probably Amazon.
I don't remember.
Free somewhere.
Apple, I think, has it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty sure Apple has it. But yeah, onto my question. I know we're talking about fun stuff already, but it's time to make it a bit serious right now.
Okay.
So, of course, Greg, I think 8 years ago you had your cancer, right?
God. Yeah, this fall it will be, what is 2020? So 9 years. 2012.
Wow. Yeah, so the reason I wanted to talk about it was because 4 years ago, I also had to go through cancer and all that.
Sure.
And so I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions for that. Like, the first one would be, if 9 years later, do you still feel the presence of your cancer, or is it still something on your mind? Or
Great question. So yes and no. It is rare, I think, that I think about it. I think it's more that I'll often catch a glimpse of something that reminds me of it. Whereas, I'm so gray now, but it's this side, right? Where I have the white patch. Isn't there a patch of hair here? Yeah, like the patch of hair, or this is a permanent bruise from where they found out I was allergic to bleomycin.
Dang.
Like, it's little things like that I'll look at and be like, oh yeah, that happened. Or, with COVID, getting the vaccine, you know what I mean? Like, are you allergic to any medications? I always have to check yes now. And then they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, bleomycin, it's a chemotherapy drug. You're probably not going to give it to me, but I need to tell you. And then we walk through all the things that go wrong when I have bleomycin. And, in COVID land, usually it's a wait here for 15 minutes. I get pulled aside to a very special section where they say, wait here for 30 minutes. Here's your nurse practitioner who, if anything goes wrong, will run in and take care of you or whatever. And then, I talked about it recently on the Kind of Funny podcast, like the journey to have a child. Like, it was that thing of, I think that's been the most dramatic reminder in recent time, where, to get back the test results for my sperm and find out that chemotherapy greatly damaged me and like really, really, catastrophically took down my sperm count. Like, to have that fear confirmed, right? Like devastated me. Like I talk about on the podcast, I cried when I got the news, but I was with Jen, and it wasn't until I was taking trash down to in our building and then riding back up the elevator that I broke down, where I like sobbed in the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't again the, oh my God, I can't have children, or oh my God, it's gonna be hard to have children, because we did end up naturally conceiving, thank goodness, or not thank goodness, but not good news, I guess. But it was more what devastated me was what you're asking of, like, holy shit, this is 9 years later, and this is still reverberating through my life and catching me when I was totally forgetful of it in so many different ways, right? So I think there's that whole level to it, but I'd like to think that underneath the constant thought of it is the, constant relief and understanding how special it is to be here. Understanding more than anything, I think, how special it is to be here healthy. That's something you know, until it's gone, you don't realize you have. And then to get on the other side of it and, understand what it's like to be able to do whatever, you know what I mean? To, not have to worry about if I'm going to have a drink, when am I having a drink and how it'll make me feel, not worry about not being able to move as fast as I wanted to or do whatever I wanted to do before. Like, to get on the other side of that's a different thing that gives you that clarity. But then also, I always talk about gives me the fear. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my greatest strength coming into my battle with cancer was my naivete about it, right? Of not knowing what I was about to get into. Whereas now, if tomorrow I found out, like, that I have cancer again and I have to go through it all again, like, I know what that's like. And that is like, that's a hard struggle to sit at the bottom of the mountain and be like, I got to climb this again. And if I had to, obviously I'll do it one day. But like, that is the biggest fear of, like, I still do it all the time, where if there's a pain or a bump or whatever, even if I do it, one of my first symptoms was a lymph node that had grown over my collarbone. Like, so you'll see me on podcasts all the time, like, scratch something and then do this quick check. I'm like, wait, is that normal? Is that what that should, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing. But so yeah, it's a weird mix of, yes, I think about it all the time, and also no, I never think about it. But there's always currents to it that are part of my life.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I get you. I'm similarly there with you. I mean, to your point of kind of like the fear of it.
Yeah.
So my cancer was different. Luckily for me, it was only on my leg, and it stayed on my leg there. But it also meant that I had to get surgery for it. I was in the hospital for like a week later after that.
Oh, wow.
And so even though I didn't have chemo, I didn't have to go through that, my leg still fucked in a way where...
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's not like you dodged a bullet or something, right? You have your own struggle, your own battle.
It frequently hurts, and it has reduced movement. And so, yeah. And also one of my fears is that, just like you, when I got there, I was like in my naivete where I usually, when I come to moments where I have to do something, even though it's like something painful or surgery or whatever, I just go through it because it's something I had to do. But so, and this leads to my next question. When the other day, or a couple of years ago, the question of surgery, of making a surgery for something else came up, and something that I had never felt before was that the fear of having surgery, which is something that has never happened to me before. And so my second question would be, like, did something change? Like, something for you change after your surgery that you feel that hasn't come back? I know that at some point you mentioned how your mood might be different, or how you can get irritated easier than before. And so do you think that something has changed?
Yeah, I do. You know what I mean? I talked about it a lot of, going through chemo, having that light switch of going from totally fine to hating everything, or something's wrong, or I'm angry, or, just this is fuck everything, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think I ever lost that. And it's impossible to say, because again, going into it, I wasn't told to look out for it. So I can't remember what my life and who I was like before it, right? You know what I mean? Because you don't think about it till you're way on the other side of it. But I still feel like, I can flip, my emotions seem like they can flip way quicker than they could before. And it will still be that, like, and granted, maybe it's the life I lead and as much as I take on, but it is still tiddlywinks of little things getting dropped on, and then literally the straw that breaks the camel's back, where I'm fucking mad that I got to do this thing, and yada, yada, yada. And like, I'm always, oh God, one chore leads to another, where, I want to wash the dishes, but there's trash. So I go to put it in the trash, but the trash is full. So I take the trash out, but the trash is, got to, I mean, it's like, I spill something and I got to do the paper towels, and I still haven't even done the dishes, kind of thing. Like, that's also just life. So it's hard to say. Like, I do think that it changed the chemical makeup, or at least how I on a biological level how I process emotions and do things like that. But I'm aware of it, and so like there's plenty of times I catch myself and like I try to calm myself down or tell myself like, it's cool, we're not going to do that right now. Or I apologize to Jen all the time, you know what I mean, for being in a bad mood and, you know, a million other things. And it's always the short end of the stick for her. And this is, you know, the privacy, I guess, and the intimacy of a relationship, right? Of, you know, for you guys, I get to come on camera, and I don't mean like right now, I mean people watching in general, but you guys too, where I get to come on and I'm super stoked to be here and I'm having a great time. And I always talk about it, right? Of like, bam, for an hour and a half, right? I am dialed into this. This is what I get to focus on, which means all the bullshit, the emails and the to-dos and the fucking my taxes, like all the stuff that like I need to do as an adult, I don't have to worry about right now, which is great. And so you get that best moment. But when you come off this, right, like there's that energy that's up here as I do a show, and then it comes down to a normal level, but then often slips below the normal level of energy because now I'm tired from doing the show, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and Andy needs this, and you know, and like so you get up
fucking
there, and it's
Andy.
like fucking Andy,
Fucking
the worst, you know what I mean? But you get up there and you know, like I have to remind myself, like, well, this isn't fair to her. Like I don't want to be this person to her. I want to be who I want to be. So it's like it's a constant balancing act. But again, I think that goes for everybody. But I think it's just we live in extremes here in terms of how my job is.
Yeah. Well, great. Since I have you here, I'd like to thank you for so many years of just constant joy. I mean, even daily. I mean, what do you know when Up at Noon started? Like episode 1.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, geez. It was 2012, January 2012. So like January. It was one of the things we came back. So it was like January 4th, January 7th, somewhere out there.
Okay. So almost 10 years this January, I would be watching you weekly since Up at Noon, and then since Kind of Funny daily. And thank you for so many years of joy that you brought me. And to the point of cancer, one of the episodes of the morning show that I go back to was when I was after surgery, I was still in hospital on bed. I sent out a tip to the show saying that I had just gone through it, and you were on the show and you gave me words of encouragement. And that's one of the episodes that I keep going back to. That's when to lift myself up.
That's fantastic. And I mean, of course, Ignacio, first off, congrats on still being around. I'm glad you got this taken care of, and I'm glad you went in and did everything. But yeah, I mean, thank you for your support. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody knows Ignacio. Like, you write into everything, you're on everything. Like, I mean, you're a fantastic. I mean, Gino could learn a lot from how to support Kind of Funny. I know. Like, you know, from you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, I Googled the January 31st, 2012 was the first episode of Up at Noon.
I wrote it down because it was 10 years, so.
I'll bounce off of Ignacio there. I don't know why you still continue to attack me, Greg. I thought we squashed it.
These unprovoked attacks.
But I guess to bounce off of Ignacio, I have been watching you as well since Up at Noon, and that I've always been, I guess, lurking until this past year where I realized, or when I just thought to myself, I want to make friends, like-minded friends in this community. And that's when it just, you know, it's so interesting how in this community you can really make lifelong friends. I've made, you know, Matt Batson and then, you know, Simply Sassy crew, other people in the community as well, and the Whatnauts here. Things that I never thought I would be doing, I'm doing because of the inspiration that you put out there, Greg. And that's I thank you so much for all of that. And the one thing that I remember when I thought to myself, I'm gonna follow Greg for the rest of his life, was when you left IGN.
What a creep, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be behind him, standing behind him.
This man is never gonna get rid of me.
Where you left IGN and you cried so much on that goodbye video, and I was like, wow, this is so emotional. He's so passionate about what he's doing, and I guess it extended it to me, where I was like, I want to see what he does, and just it's only up from when you left. It's been only up,
it's crazy.
You know, and it's amazing to see, and then it's amazing to even, you know, you're insulting me every few days and stuff like that, but it's nice to be a part of that. You know what I mean? It's nice to
I know, because you're in on the joke. Yeah. Like, no, that's my, first off, thank you. And of course, thank you for the years of support as well. And thanks for following the journey that way. But more importantly, thank you for, listening to the message and, letting it get to you in a way that you wanted to come out and you wanted to work with these guys, that you wanted to be more vocal. You wanted to go do stuff like, it could all go away tomorrow. And I think the thing I'd be the most proud of in terms of my career isn't, the Uncharted review or the Game Award or whatever. It would be the fact that I've had a small part in getting people to get out of their shells and go make new friends and go make their own things. And also like really embrace the idea that they can go be creative. And, it doesn't have to be a full blown thing like what we did and what I did of like, I'm going to do this as my career. Like the amount of, I forget, it's a Reddit thread meme, but it's probably a TikTok meme, right? Of just like, the way our generation, and you're younger than me, but our generation hangs out, right? Is the idea you start a podcast. And it's just because like there is something intoxicating about it of like creating something and putting it out there and feeling creative. You know what I mean? Whereas I think you would have thought about being creative growing up for me personally, and it would have been making music. It would have been doing art. It would have been, performing or somewhere. And like the idea of even just what your headline's going to be and what are your stories going to be. Like there's an art to all this. And it's fun just to do it, even if it means it's never going to, blow up and you're going to be on, WNYC or something.
Yeah,
absolutely. Greg, I want to wrap things up with this question to piggyback on that. What advice would you give to creators who might be new at podcasting or stuff like that to help them find their own voice?
Sure. I mean, there's a couple different things. Obviously, the one I always give, right, is do it. Like, I think it's so simple to, and that's what always happens to me at meet and greets where people come up like, oh man, me and my friend have been thinking about starting a podcast. And I was like, oh, cool. What is it called? Where is it? Oh, well, we haven't yet. Like, he's going to get a new microphone. I'm waiting on some, and I'm always like, you got to go. You got an iPhone in your pocket right now.
Yeah.
You got an iPhone in your pocket, gather on your, and this is when pre-COVID, gather on your kitchen table and talk into it. And the rest happens over time. Because what I always go back to, and I talk about very personally from my own experience, right, is like, you will suck at podcasting. Podcasting is not easy. It seems easy to have a conversation with people. And for some people it is, but
I could absolutely vouch for
dude,
that
like go back and listen to my first Game Scoops. My first IGN is AFKs. Like they are awful. Why? Because I'm sitting there, first off, like I can hear everything in my headphones. That's weird. Am I breathing on the microphone? Okay, they're in the middle of a point. When can I interject? What is the thing? Blah, 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 blah. Like you can sit down with your best friend of, your entire life and do a podcast, and it will get in your heads about what you're doing and how you're doing it, and who's leading, and where's the conversation, and where you got to go out there and you got to swing the bat a bunch. Like this is a muscle, and it isn't something that happens overnight. Like it is years and years of practice. And so if you want to do this, or you're already doing this, you got to power through it. You got to understand you're putting out garbage to begin with. You got to understand the returns are going to be infinitesimal, right? Like you are not going to start a podcast and then have 50 viewers and 50 downloads the next day. Like it takes time to build something and get out there. And it's all about understanding that and then figuring out why you're doing it. If you're doing it for a quick buck, if you're doing it for fame, if you're doing it for all the wrong reasons, like you're not going to last and it's not going to happen for you. If you're doing it because you want to make something and put something out into the world and you believe in it, you're going to find other people who believe in it. And that's always the thing about it. So like, I think the biggest thing is to start doing it and then look at what you're enjoying the most out of it and pivot on that. Like you see it to this day. Sure. I think right now I talked about it. I've done a lot of guest appearances, which is rare for me, but I've been doing guest appearances in like the past couple weeks. So I can't remember if it was on our stuff or not, but like the last episode of PS I Love You XOXO isn't the first great Blessing Greg episode, but it's the first one where I've been in the middle of it and been like, oh fuck, we're crushing this right now. And that is that was episode 68. It's 69 this week, where it's like,
nice.
That is how long it takes for two professional podcasters, right? And granted, Blessing had been doing it part-time, but then this is his job now. But two people to get in there and find that rhythm. And that's been the entire way. I remember distinctly, I always talk about it, for Beyond, which is a podcast I co-founded. People changed so much coming throughout the years of Beyond in terms of casting. And when Roper got laid off at IGN and I became lead on the PlayStation beat and then also the Podcast Beyond, and Podcast Beyond cemented itself as me, Clements, and Colin. Like I remember that, and I remember as I squint to remember, that was in the early 100s. Yeah, for sure. I don't remember the year, but that was in the early 100 episodes, like episode 101, right, we'll say Roper, 107, Roper gets let go. And I remember it wasn't until Podcast Beyond episode 150 where I unveiled the Beyond logo and I gave them Beyond shirts, that I felt like we had a thing. Like we have a rhythm together. We know what each other's roles are in the podcast. And so being a little lenient with it, right? That's 50 episodes of, again, keep in mind, I had done 100 episodes of Podcast Beyond at that point, but you change the ingredients and you change the roles of it and you have to figure it out. And so like for me and Blessing right now at episode 69 this week, like it is of like, what bits work, what bits don't. Why are we holding ourselves to feel like we have to get all this in? Like, let's shorten the run of show and just have it be Tots, PlayStation updates, and then a hodgepodge of whatever we get to. Like, we can talk to each other about anything. We always have been, but we are trying to shoehorn things in that I think got in the way of what the show is.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I guess the ongoing advice is that it's a learning process for everybody, and you just got to pivot and see what feels right to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg, where can the people find you on the internet?
Everybody can keep up with me over at youtube.com/kindafunnygames, where I make all sorts of video game podcasts. Of course, you can get those podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a million other places by searching Kinda Funny. And thank you for all the support, no matter where you get the shows.
Absolutely. And Gino, where can they find you explaining Final Fantasy XIV into the void?
Speaking of Final Fantasy and speaking of Blessing, he was interested in trying it, Greg, so make sure he tries it as well. We're
always looking for stuff to play together. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. So
game. That's the perfect game to do it. You guys can find me over on Twitter at Gino_Viteri and on Twitch, where I actually will be reacting to the Final Fantasy Fan Fest this Friday. That's going on.
Are you expecting big things for Final Fantasy 14 then?
Oh yeah, that's the new expansion that's coming out, Greg. New expansion. So that's my E3 for this year. I will be reacting to it on twitch.tv/GinoVii. There you go.
There you go. And Alan, where can they find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/AzurePKK, where I like to play games, and maybe sometimes I'm playing PlayStation games to collect trophies. I love hanging out on other people's streams and chatting and making friends, so you can find me on other people's streams or hang out in mine, and let's just have a good time talking about games or cracking jokes.
There you go. And Ignacio, where can they find you?
Well, the people, Greg, can find me on Twitter at Ignacio Rojas B. That's IGNACIOROJASB.
Is that a remote play?
Ooh, look at that.
It's downloaded. It's all set to go.
We'll see about that.
There we go, dude. There we go. He's done it.
But then again, if Greg didn't catch it, it's IGNACIOROJASB. Greg, I've seen the people that you follow. Come on, man. It's been now gonna be 10 years.
I need to clean up the follows there too. There's just too many people.
Hire people for that. Let's hire some people
for
that. Yeah.
Well, don't worry. You're not following me, so that's okay.
Yeah. Man, what time is it? I gotta go, guys.
One day, Greg. That's one of my life goals. One day.
If you guys want to stay up to date with me, I'm at Kyle Springer on Twitter. If you guys want to stay up to date with all of the shows that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So go like, share, subscribe, and do all of that stuff. You guys know the deal. And with that, this has been, I think, number 71 of
69,
Crossplay.
69, we agreed that it's 69.
We'll change it to 69.
We'll change it to 69. All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.
See you guys.
Thank you always.